No, they're discovering that there is a disparity in payment in the healthcare industry, and that's called, the the pink industries that in are healthcare and patient care and education, whereas that would be and childcare, that would be preschool to higher education. The male dominance begins in higher education, and I experienced that directly. I was on faculty at Northwestern University for 18 years, and they would explain the disparity in the pay gap as historic, and the explanation that we can't correct the historic gap. And my thought was, well, why not? because because it's historic doesn't mean that it's permanent. But I think that men going into fields that are traditionally been relegated to females know to negotiate salaries. There's a classic book called Women Don't Ask that is about women in business tend to take the first offer, but any negotiator will tell you that no, that you're automatically lowballed, and the expectation from the employer is that you will ask for more. All they have to do is say no. And what I have been practicing the last several years is start high. You can always go down. You can't really ever go up in that initial conversation and negotiation, because that is where you start at your ceiling. And women need to understand that they need to ask for more, and they have been reticent to, for many, many different reasons, culturally, and trying to be polite, and being grateful that they have the opportunity, but we need to shift that notion. Women are paid less, I think, for equivalent work pretty much across the board because of, historic precedents, and because also, cultural tendencies not to want to, rock the boat or be too outspoken, or possible retaliation. Everyone wants to get along with you. No one wants to, be accused of being, too aggressive. Whereas, if a man did exactly the same thing, he would be smart and watching out for himself, and a woman would be, called derogatory names. Recently, a colleague of mine at the Medill School of Journalism at Northwestern, Candy Lee, did a study on voices, and the gender of voice and the race of voice, and how it affects perceptions of their leadership skills. So she had a black man, a black woman, a white man, and a white woman read exactly the same business script, and she had hundreds of students assign leadership qualities to that person based on sound of the voice. And you might be able to imagine that the highest leadership skills and the most positive attributes were to white men. Second was white woman. Third was black man. And last was black woman. So we have race and bias for gender all going into our thought process and affecting, how we do business. And we have to be cognizant of that unconscious bias and work to understand that and overcome that, and really work towards parity, because that's really about social justice and fairness. and make it not a battle of gender or race, and make it, again, make it a human issue of what is fair, equal pay for equal work regardless.
Hello, Michelle. This is a great question, and I agree with it. It's a definite fact that women do not get paid equally for the same job, and that's inherently unfair. It's a human rights question. It's not just women's rights, it's a human rights question. Women should get paid the same for the same work, but most times women work longer hours. They put in a lot more work, and especially in management and higher levels, and they don't get paid the same as someone, even a man, doing less work. So, yeah, I mean, I don't believe that someone doing twice as much work should, you know, get paid the same as someone doing less work. But I don't think that's the case when it comes to women not getting paid fairly. They never have. And in this political climate, they won't get paid the same. They are not supported by the men in this political climate, and they won't be. Yeah, it's inherently unfair, and it's not just the pay. It's the Equal Rights Amendment, and it's the number of women that represent us in Congress. Until we get equal representation, I'd say at least 51% in Congress, in both houses of Congress, women are not going to get the equal pay. The Equal Rights Amendment won't pass, and they'll try to strip women of anything economically that they can to keep women down, to keep their votes down, and to keep them from, having a fair share in Congress. And there's a lot of inherently unfair things in our country as far as voting goes. So, yeah, I agree. This women aren't getting paid equally, and I don't see that changing. Thanks for the question.
Well, I think women are paying less because who is in charge of the industries that are in paying people, whether it's Wall Street, construction, healthcare, you name it, men. And men who believe that women are not as productive as men, or whatever the illogical reasons that they're going to tell you the men are better, the men are more productive, all that crap. So that's one of the reasons. Until there is more equality regarding who is in charge, nothing else is going to change. After all, in Congress, there's supposed to be a laws about equal pay, but nothing has happened with that, I believe. So there you go.
Hey, Holger. It seems like we agree again. I think you're the one Republican that I seem to agree with a lot. You must be a moderate. You're so sensible. Have a great day.
Hey Michelle, thank you for taking the time to do your post. I'm trying to absorb everything you said while sitting at an airport, actually Fort Lauderdale Terminal 1, Southwest. And the incident, of course, this past Friday, January the 6th, was at Terminal 2. And of course it encompassed Terminal 1 and then 3, and it's just a mess. So it's weird being here because there's not a lot of people around. And this is the only terminal that had, in Southwest, that had almost no waiting where others had waiting all the way to the curb. So anyway, that just sets a scene as to where I'm at. So forgive any extrinsic. I can't use big words this early in the morning. Look, there's background noise. Sorry. To my point, it reminds me of the blind community. I'll draw a parallel here. Blind community is unemployed over about 70 to 80% is the number I keep hearing. 70 to 80%. Why? Well, because people see us as a liability, mainly lack of education. If I hire this blind guy, am I going to, have to wipe his nose or put in a new ramp, or do I need to hire somebody else to work with him? Can he this? Can he? Very kind of putting people in a box. And I see the same thing happening with your post. In fact, my ex-wife was a nurse, or is a nurse, I guess. And yeah, she knew about that. She knew about people getting paid more than her just because she's female. And it's the same double standard with a woman that's a go-getter that is in the, how shall I say this? People who date around. If a man is dating around, he's a superhero. If a woman dates around, then she's a bad word or three. There's a freaking double standard, but I'm aggravated that they don't want to change it because that's the old guard, and by golly, that's the way we've always done it. I wish I could remember more of what you said so I can comment on it, but sorry, my brain can only retain so much before my memory is full and I start deleting to make more room for more data. I'm like a very, very low capacity flash drive, 1 meg and I'm done. Anyway, thank you for your post. That was very insightful, and hope to hear more from you. From you? Yeah, I'm from New York. You're a yeah. Like in that movie, My Uncle Vinny, the youth on here are pretty educated. All right, I'll quit rambling. I'm just being silly because it's too early and I had too much coffee, and it's about 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern, and I'm set to depart at 9. So thank you, Jesus. I'll be out of here soon. Bye. Oh, I wonder if you guys have a way to reply to these messages. I haven't asked Tom if you do or not. Or if you do, it'd be cool if you can post back in here. See ya.
Back button. Single finger double tap to stop. Button. Done. Button.